Yeah, I'm just checking in, just checking in. I should have my everything should be good now on my live, man. I had way too much stuff on here. I don't think I should have too many problems as far as any lagging going on. But I think that was an issue on my part. But I have an announcement. Any fans, and I'm gonna put a post up tonight. I'm gonna put a post up and I'm gonna do a video. Because for some reason, I said every time I mention a Puerto Rican fighter, people get upset and get mad. No, never mind the fact that I was right about most of the stuff I said. Any fans, any Puerto Rican fans who will feel upset about anything I say, I'm gonna have a panel tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'm gonna load it up early just so everybody can see it. I'm gonna have a panel up tomorrow. Okay, you can definitely get on here and voice your opinions about what you don't like. Cause boy, we had too many, and I'm not trying to use any profanity right now, but we had too many nut huggers in boxing right now that was upset about what I said about Berlanga earlier. Because I said that he was fat, which he was. Bruh, I'm so glad. Even, and you know what's crazy? Even though Americans dominate in the sport of boxing, I don't run around and be as, how do you say, just egotistical as some of these people, bro. Some of these people have so many big egos when it comes to boxing. They race hustling in boxing. All this race hustling in boxing that's going on, it's coming to an end, bro. I hope everybody know it. All the race hustling that been going on in boxing, it's coming to an end, bro. I'm gonna just let everybody know that right now. You can have favorites in boxing. That's not a problem. You can have favorites in anything. All the race hustling that's going on, because I know YouTube supports a lot of that stuff as well. But all that goes on, bro, them days are over with, bro. That's why I'm sitting here laughing that people are still trying to move like that. Bro, y'all finna get embarrassed, man, doing stuff like that. If you're still race hustling in 2025, you're gonna get exposed. I'm gonna just let you know that right now. I don't care how many fans love it or like it or how much benefits it brings your channel or whatever. Bro, that's cool. That's coming to an end. I hope everybody knows that. I hope everybody knows. I will have a panel on tomorrow. I will have a panel on tomorrow. And anybody who has a problem with anything I've said, you can definitely come on there and say something. And watch how many people show up. Watch how many people show up. So I will have a panel tomorrow for anybody that wants to voice their displeasures in boxing. Because the fact that I know sometimes what I say gets a lot of people upset, it makes me even want to just talk about it even more. Some would call it petty, but not really. It's not my fault everybody's upset about the truth. And that's bad in boxing. People get upset about people telling the truth in boxing now? It's just a sport. This is how you know that the stuff that goes on out here in the real world is a joke. Boxing actually helps you realize that the stuff that goes on in the real world is a joke. It's a joke. People don't take life serious, man. People go through life race hustling, using sports to try to prop up some of their displeasures or, low self-esteem issues. But I can't believe people got upset that I said Berlanga was fat earlier. Bro, I'm going back to that tomorrow. So anybody that was upset about it, I'm going back to that same topic tomorrow. I love when people have displeasures with the truth. You are okay with mediocrity in boxing. You sit around celebrating mediocrity, but then you're going to disrespect fighters because they're American. Bro, y'all can get sliced up tomorrow talking like that. So anybody who has that kind of issue in boxing where you don't want to let go of your personal feelings towards others because of where they're from or how they look, you're in the wrong business. I don't know why these guys have made y'all so comfortable in boxing. Just gonna say that. Because I will get the last laugh. Trust me. Because the way y'all sitting around putting all this pressure on people, y'all don't know it, but y'all put pressure on guys. Y'all put pressure on. That's why guys like Keyshawn, Brian Norman Jr. is sitting around right now in the background like, man, I ain't got to worry about all that. People didn't sit up here and say nothing about Keyshawn Davis until he knocked out Lemos. This man, he had to knock the man out, first of all. So this goes to show you, like I've been saying before, people gravitate more to knockouts than actually the skills of boxing. That's why I would never. That's why in my mind, realistically, I felt like after the Tank Davis fight, and I wrote down that whole fight, top to bottom before it even happened. I said, bro, I probably don't need to break down no more fights. And that was like the last fight I was really gonna break down. Just did a live on it. But these people don't know boxing, bro. They just race hustling, bro. That's it. You just race hustling. It's becoming like soccer now. You know how I used to go to soccer stadiums and they'd be doing the little monkey chants and everything else, and they'll jump on them African guys when they leaving a stadium in Spain or something like that. This is what the energy they bringing towards boxing. Because they say soccer is the biggest sport in the world, right? So guess what? The most popular sports in the world, most popular sport in the world is the most racist sport in the world. So they want all the fans who come from these sports that gravitate towards racism to come to boxing. Yeah, we trying to make boxing bigger. Yeah, bring the right type of fans though. You bringing fans that trying to destroy the sport. All the top fighters, oh, he trash, he trash, he trash, he trash, he trash. How are you going to build a sport up when you're saying every guy that's a top fighter is trash? Come on, man. We need to get these race hustles out of boxing, man. We need real boxing fans. Seriously, we need serious, real boxing fans in boxing. If we don't get it soon, it's going to be a waste of time even having big fights. They ain't giving guys credit for winning big fights now. I still ain't seen nobody giving Benavidez credit for beating Morrell. They like, oh, well, yeah, he did it. Oh, yeah, he did it. He did beat him. Yeah, he did beat him. Now I'm starting to find out why a lot of people don't really gravitate towards talking about every fighter. You can't, to be honest with you can't talk about every fighter these days. You can't. The fans are so biased that you can't even explain stuff. They like, I told y'all, they always got to see the number one versus number two to see how good somebody is. They wait until Lamont Roach jumped in the ring with Tank. Lamont Roach is a whole champion. They wait until Lamont Roach jumped in the ring with Tank, and they like, oh, well, he survived against Tank. He must be good. It's disgusting. But I wanted to speak about Keyshawn Davis. And, you know, it was a lot of people that were speaking about what his next fight should be. What does he have coming up? And I'm hearing that, you know, he would love to have the opportunity to face off against Lomachenko. And we know what type of fighter Lomachenko is already. What's going on, Root Exposure? What's going on, dog? We hearing that, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for coming through. I'm hearing that Keyshawn Davis would like an opportunity against Lomachenko. From what I'm hearing, Lomachenko is not really leaning towards a Keyshawn Davis. If I was somebody right now, I'd be like Raymond Muritai, somebody at 135 calling out Keyshawn. I'm hearing they talking about Andy Cruz. Not as far as a matchup possibly being made right now, but I'm just talking about people saying that he needs to fight Andy Cruz or whatever. Yeah, that's a good fight, but at the same time, I look at Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn the same way I looked at David Benavidez versus versus David Morrell. Okay, Andy Cruz go out there and lose to Keyshawn. What's gonna happen then? Is people still gonna be behind Andy Cruz? People now 135 is one of the deepest divisions the last couple of years, and the only name they come to find out that they want to match up with Keyshawn Davis is Andy Cruz. De Los Santos just said something recently. That's a name they wasn't even thinking about. He'll fight anybody at this time, especially a guy with a belt. So you have options out there to make something happen. So I'm not really worried about Keyshawn. That's why I told people a couple of months ago. Well, actually, I said this after, I don't know when I said it. I think it was recently. It had to be this year. But I said recently this year, you don't really need Keyshawn. Well, it was before Keyshawn's last fight. You don't need Tank Davis to do certain things if you got Keyshawn Davis doing it. If Keyshawn Davis go out there and knock out Loma, he go beat a guy like Lamont Roach. If he fight a Shakur Stevenson, or he does anything. Javier Herrera is a prospect, and he gets hit way too much. Javier Herrera, people only start talking about him when he called out Shakur Stevenson. I've known about Herrera for a long time. And you said Keyshawn need to fight his brother? You talking about Shakur Stevenson? I just said that. He ain't got to fight Shakur Stevenson because everybody else ain't fighting nobody. He ain't got to fight Shakur Stevenson. I don't agree with that one. That's like me saying Canelo got to fight Maidana or Manny Pacquiao. That's like me saying Canelo got to fight Dave Morrell or Benavidez. That's like me saying BOOtS got to fight Virgil Ortiz or Norman Nix. That's like me saying Shakur Stevenson better not be talking about fighting on 140 right now. You gotta think about it. He said, I don't want nobody to fight Shakur except Herrera. I don't think Herrera ready. If you go look at Herrera's fights last year, and I understand what you're saying, Rude. No, I don't disagree with you. Feel like Keyshawn should fight Shakur. I don't give nobody an issue that they feel like he should fight Shakur. That's a fact. If you feel like that should happen, yeah. Because let me tell you why. Shakur is friends with Tank. Shakur is friends with Tank. The same thing Shakur be doing for Keyshawn when he go to the backstage and hang out with him, it's the same thing that he does for Keyshawn. I mean, the same thing he was doing for Tank is the same thing he was doing with Keyshawn. He was going backstage with Tank. See, people don't realize it, but him and Tank is friends. But if I had to guess, and this just being real, this just real talk right here. Keyshawn will fight Shakur before Tank will. That's something a lot of people won't talk about. Keyshawn will fight Tank. Keyshawn will fight Shakur before Tank will. But as far as Herrera, I like Herrera, but he ain't ready though. Herrera just started putting that size on him. Like last year, Herrera was looking like dang, who's somebody skinny, dog? Hey, who's somebody skinny? Herrera was looking like Leo Santa Cruz last year. And he get hit too much. And he swings wild and he ain't got a jab. I don't trust, he got a jab, but it ain't, nah. I don't know if he could beat Padley right now. Padley ain't no bum. I know a lot of people think Padley a bum, but I think Padley will possibly beat Herrera right now. Herrera got power, but Keyshawn will fight Tank before he'll fight Shakur before Tank will. Shoot, Keyshawn to fight Andy Cruz. Matter of fact, Keyshawn, it ain't been a person that Keyshawn said he wouldn't fight except Shakur Stevenson. And the best part about that is Keyshawn still got 2 more brothers. He got a brother at 47. He got a brother at 140. His brother at 47 is no joke. His brother at 147 is no joke. Keon Davis, he's no joke. The 140 Kelvin, he's no joke. So it's gonna be a point in time where one of those guys gonna have to clash with somebody. I know Keyshawn Davis' brothers ain't coming to boxing to be friends with Tank or Shakur Stevenson. So maybe them guys gonna have to stay at 135 for a while, unless they want to mix it up. But I believe in Keyshawn a lot more than I do Tank, as far as Tank facing off against certain people. I believe in Brian Norman before I believe in a lot of people. Brian Norman, he's a guy that called out most people. Even BOOtS ENNIS. People will say, well, he asked for too much money against BOOtS and he did this and he did that. Bro, the man negotiated the fight with BOOtS. That's more than what everybody else has done. And he was the first one to actually pull up to the table and try to fight BOOtS. After that, that's when everybody started saying Virgil Ortiz or whatever. But even a guy like Brian Norman Jr., these is guys that people are overlooking right now. I know they're looking at Teofimo and Ryan Garcia and other people. What's going on, Aaron? But he said Tank ain't gonna never fight Shakur. But people don't realize that Tank and Shakur is they just as much friends as Keyshawn and Tank. I mean Keyshawn and I don't know why I keep missing these names, but Keyshawn and Shakur. I feel like they definitely running game on people. Oh, the contract over here. Oh, they ain't contact this person. Oh, that person there. I'm like, okay, bro. Oh, I'm thinking about going to 140. I'm like, bro, the fact that Keyshawn and Shakur is talking about going to 140, that lets you know everything you need to know right there. These guys got belts, and they're not even getting called out right now. I can probably name on one hand all the guys that call out Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis. He want to fight Loma. Then Loma's manager comes out and says Tank is better than Shakur Stevenson as far as skills. If Tank is better than Shakur Stevenson, that means you think Lamont Roach better than Shakur Stevenson. Because from what I seen, Lamont Roach showed that he on the same level as Tank if he don't get no knockout. That's how I see it. And I can make a case that Lamont Roach performed better against Tank Davis than a guy like Fury did against Wilder. Because people see that first fight against Wilder and Fury, they say, oh, well, he got knocked down twice, but I know how to score every round. Okay, what was Lamont Roach doing then? I'm telling you, if it was up to the fans, bro, to score that Lamont Roach fight, he would have walked out of there with a loss. He would have lost. If the fans would have scored that Lamont Roach fight, Lamont Roach would have lost every round. He would have walked out of there with a loss. People not even giving him credit now. They talking about Tank gonna knock him out in the next fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing too. This right here, and this is no disrespect, I'm not being funny. This could possibly end Tank's career if these people do this. I'm gonna tell you why. So for the next 3 or 4 months, everybody gonna talk about how Tank gonna knock out Lamont Roach again. You got people that's on podcasts right now that said Tank lost the fight. Then they are watching boxing shows on YouTube. You have casuals that's watching boxing shows on YouTube that feel like Lamont Roach won the fight, or that it was close, or that it was a knockdown and everything else. They are getting on YouTube channels like mine and everybody else's and seeing a lot of fans that watch boxing every day, and they are hearing these guys talk about how Lamont Roach ain't do nothing, and how the next fight he ain't gonna do nothing. So they sitting back now thinking like, is this the kind of environment they have in boxing now? They talking about guys who ain't gonna do this and do that after big performances. That's crazy to me. Super crazy. I'm talking about that's crazy to me. If I'm Mike Tyson, I would be very upset that I ain't get a draw versus Jake Paul. I'm like, dang, Lamont Roach and Tank was a draw? And y'all gave me a professional loss against Jake Paul? Man, there's so many fights that went just like that Lamont Roach fight, or that was closer, and that wasn't a draw. See, they went. What I found out is on that Saturday, they weren't man enough to give Lamont Roach a loss. I would have respected them more if they would have just said, you know what, let's just give them a loss then. Because they would have lost a whole bunch of fans that night. They couldn't do it that night. They ain't want to give them a loss. And this goes back to the Keyshawn Davis situation. When he was going 12 rounds, everybody was talking about how he ain't ready, how he ain't this good of a boxer. And now he has everybody lined up at 135. Now y'all notice, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You will notice on my channel, I consistently have posted about Keyshawn Davis. I knew he was gonna always be around. Yadi Herrera, I posted a video about him like 2024, I think. Might have, yeah, I think it was 2024. I knew he was gonna be a problem. But where are all these why is Herrera not fighting Raven Miritai? I think Raven Miritai is in line for the Lomachenko belt, but when? I haven't seen a Tank highlight package. Yeah, I haven't seen one, man. I haven't seen one yet. I haven't seen one. A highlight package, I ain't seen one. I gotta agree on that. And Rude knows. And Rude, you was the first one I heard talking about the bite. I mentioned it as well, but you was the first person I seen post a video about the bite too. I gotta give you credit on that. There might have been some other people, but as far as that's why I ain't make a video about it. I was like, I'm gonna just let Rude, because I already seen you was talking about it. I was like, you the first person I seen talking about the bite. I know a lot of people was talking about it recently. Yeah, Tank Pitt a knockout. And the thing that worries me about Tank is what people don't want to talk about. Tank ain't outbox nobody. Tank ain't outbox nobody. If he can't overpower you, he's done. That's why him getting in the ring with a Keyshawn Davis or anybody, people talking about him fighting Terrence Crawford. I mean, I don't even know if he can go in there with Brian Norman Jr. and do nothing. I know Brian Norman Jr. sparred him before, but you know. And I dropped a couple of hints on people as well. You know, if you go back and look at the sparring match that Tank had with Devin Haney, people talking about, oh, Tank was out of shape. He was talking to people outside the ring. You know, Floyd was pushing him. Yeah, I should have did it, but I was like, man, let me let bro, cause you are, you know, you had broke that story day one. You was talking about it on the live I was on. So I was like, yeah, he definitely know about that bite situation. But yeah, that was a good observation by you though. You broke that thing down to a decimal. You broke that one down to a decimal. But what I tried to tell people though, Keyshawn is he's a plus at this point because it's so many guys at 135 that you wanted Shakur Stevenson to fight. Now it's like, okay, Shakur Stevenson can corner the block over here in Europe. Keyshawn can corner the block over here in America. They could throw Andy Cruz up, but this the pros. And I've been watching Andy Cruz lately. Andy Cruz ain't got no power like Herrera. He got some power, he got some skills, and his combinations and his body control is definitely high level stuff. It is a gold medal type of stuff. But we've seen guys in the pros that's gold medalists. They can throw a lot of punches, but as far as winning rounds, it gets a little iffy. You know, the guys still fight like it's the amateurs a little bit. And Keyshawn is more pro ready. And he's getting better. And people said Baranchik was a bum, but Baranchik he basically went out there and whooped Navarrete back to 130. So the man is more than ready. Shout out to my dog Aaron too, man. What's going on, Aaron? I need to know who Tank fight next if he loses. If Tank loses next, if he loses to Lamont Roach, if Tank Davis loses to Lamont Roach at 135, he's gonna get desperate. And like I said, Gary Antoine Russell, I heard people saying Gary Antoine Russell was 35. I told people, Gary Antoine Russell been saying he can make 135 for 2 or 3 years now. This man said he could have been made 135. I told people Fundora could make 147. People talking about Fundora was a weight bully. The dude was like 150, 151 before he fought Tim Tszyu. And he was eating pizza the week of the fight, which is a no-no when you a combat fighter. Before a weigh-in, he was eating a pizza. Yeah, he can make 47. So it's a lot of young guys that really can make like 135. So I think Tank, he'll fight Gary Antoine Russell if he loses to a Lamont Roach. He'll be done 135 after that. It wouldn't be no reason for Tank to be at 135. So I definitely would see him going to 140 and fighting Gary Antoine Russell. He loses at 135, he gonna have to fight a LOMA, Keyshawn Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. They all give him problems. They all give him problems. And I'm gonna tell you what else people overlooked that I had said recently. People said Lomachenko was ducking. Y'all, we heard Lomachenko manager just speaking recently. It don't sound like Lomachenko ducking no Tank Davis. It looked like he lining up Tank Davis next. I know Lomachenko was at home rubbing his hands. He said Gary wants Shakur. Gary will fight anybody. That's why you know what's crazy about Gary Antoine Russell? I made a video this year saying that he was like a dark horse at 140. Gary will fight anybody though. Gary he went 12 rounds with Puello, and people said that he was trash and everything because he lost a 12-round fight due to inactivity mostly. You know, guys got to fight more than 1 or 2 times a year. I think he only fought once last year. He only been fighting once a year. So he has to fight more than one time a year. Or Gary gonna have these big fights, but he got to fight more than one time a year. He gonna be ready. But I feel like if he was fighting more than one time a year, he would have been a 135. Yeah, but Gary, Shakur, they'll fight anybody. Gary will fight anybody. Shakur will fight anybody. Keyshawn will fight anybody. A lot of these guys will. But Tank, and people think I don't like Tank. Bro, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. I don't know why y'all be thinking people don't like Tank. I heard people been saying recently, man, y'all hating on Tank, man. Hating on Tank. Bro, if I was hating on Tank, I would go back to the amateurs. Like people did against Keyshawn Davis. This is hating. When people go back to the amateurs, find out a guy who lost to somebody in the amateurs and say, hey, man, you need to get your get back with so-and-so. If I was a hater of Tank, I would be pointing out that he was in a fight before where he took a knee and then hopped up. Y'all ain't seen that video where Tank got hit with a shot and he took a knee and then hopped right back up? I was like, bro, I ain't even gonna post this. I like Tank. I said, I ain't gonna post this. I don't think people be understanding what be going on behind the scenes. Bro, this is what happened when most of the time you out here, you got to actually work out to lose weight that you be gaining in between fights. Tank gains a lot of weight in between fights. Yeah, he got a video where he took a knee, hopped right up. This was before the fight happened. Y'all don't remember that sparring video that came out? Well, old boy put that for spar. You know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you something else too. This how you know people don't hate on Tank. Somebody put a sparring video out of Tank getting dropped before he had his fight with Lamont Roach, and the video didn't even go viral. The video didn't even go viral. I'll repeat that. People say people hate on Tank, but Tank Davis had a video come out where he was getting dropped by a dude. He said, you don't like Fury? Yeah, I don't like none of those dudes that be cheating by. It's all catching up to him, bro, to be honest with you. It's all catching up to everybody. It's all catching up to everybody. That's why you have a lot of people right now talking about Joseph Parker. Oh, Joseph Parker need to fight Usyk. You know why people say Joseph Parker need to fight Usyk? And not Joseph Parker need to fight Tyson Fury? Because first of all, most of those people are fans of both. But the reason why is because they feel like they know that Joseph Parker put hands on Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua should have lost that fight against Joseph Parker. He really been getting held back ever since then. The only reason Joseph Parker ain't been in every fight against every heavyweight since he fought Joshua is because they wanted to make room for Tyson Fury. Or that's why Usyk came in and was like, man, y'all ain't trying to fight nobody? Let me go ahead and fight Dubois. Let me fight Joshua, and let me fight Tyson Fury. So that heavyweight division got exposed. Everybody thought Wilder got exposed, but bruh, you can't get exposed when you trying to fight everybody. That's the point of boxing. That's just like me saying Rayo got exposed because he fought Gary Antoine Russell after he fought Eastside Cruz. You know how stupid that sounds? People thought Rayo was going to lose against Cruz. People thought Fundora was going to lose against Tim Tszyu. Now I'm hearing that people say that Crawford running from Fundora. You sure about that? But as far as with Brian Norman, I want to speak on this, and I'm gonna speak on TIARA Brown next. But with Brian Norman Jr., I've noticed that a lot of people like Yadier Herrera. I don't know how he's getting more hype than Brian Norman Jr. right now. And I like Herrera. I'm talking about for real. I like Herrera. He was one of my prospects of the year last year. I like Herrera. But Cuban fighter, you know, he comes to fight. But is he a Brian Norman Jr.? Herrera is, I want to say, he is the same age as Brian Norman Jr. right before Brian Norman Jr. fought. Before he fought, what's the old boy name? I forgot. The guy before he fought Stanionis. But if you go back and look at what Brian Norman Jr. was doing at 21, 22, 23, 24. He's 24 now, just turned 24. Still like the youngest champion in boxing. 24. And for some reason, the man just don't get credit for trying to make certain fights happen. I know people were saying, oh man, he was dragging his feet on the BOOtS ENNIS situation. Why he can't get credit for just trying to fight BOOtS? I just thought about that. The man is 23. He was 23 at the time. But just trying to even fight BOOtS. I mean, the situation was so bad that, you know, even his dad had to come up and say, hey, we don't duck no smoke. Let me hop out here and get a fight in. We definitely, you put the money up, we'll fight. Shoot, even, you know, the dad or the son will fight. You put the money up. People forgot about that. The only reason the Hackett and Norman Sr. fight happened is because people didn't believe Brian Norman Jr. is really like that. Oh man, you asked for too much money. Even though they double back around and paid Stanionis the amount of money that Brian Norman Jr. made. I ain't made no video about that, but I'm gonna speak on that right now. And this don't got nothing to do with BOOtS. I don't want people to get in their feelings about all that. BOOtS is still BOOtS. But as far as the promotional team behind all this stuff, all Brian Norman Jr. had asked was, hey, move the date over. Because Brian Norman Jr. is still fighting 2 weeks after BOOtS. So all he had to say was, 2 weeks before BOOtS. All he had to say was, hey man, move the date over a little bit. And that's by design too. That's not by mistake. All they had to do was move the date over to where they doing now. Move the fight over to Atlantic City like they finna do. And put a little extra cash on top. The same amount of money that Brian Norman Jr. wanted is the same amount that Stanionis is getting. So that kind of, a lot of people that's not really looking at that, I don't know, man. Oh, yeah. They gave him more. Hey, not only that, Rude, not only they gave him more than 1.7, they gave him the fight. They gave him the fight in Atlantic City. Because I don't know if you remember, you can go back and check it, but Stanionis had came on the Boxing Voice, I want to say a day or two after that Brian Norman Jr. and BOOtS situation happened, when they was talking about Brian Norman Jr. want 1.7. That's what Stanionis came out and was like, yeah, I don't want that deal either. He was like, they got to give me at least two something. He said, I got a belt and I'm going to his stomping ground. I'm already going to be down on the cards when I start the fight. So he looking at it like, I'm going to be in enemy's territory. Me and him got a belt. He ain't had his belt that long. I ain't had my belt that long. So what's the problem? We both ain't fought a big name yet. So that's what Stanionis was looking at. But Stanionis getting more than 1.7 though. Definitely. Guaranteed. And he was dealing with PBC. And they got Barrios over there. And this is another thing I noticed too, Rude. It's another thing I did notice. Nobody said that Brian Norman Jr. should fight Barrios. I haven't heard Barrios versus Brian Norman Jr. spoken about at all. That is the least talked about matchup that can definitely happen. Barrios fights anybody, Brian Norman Jr. fights anybody. That's the least talked about fight in boxing. I've heard Barrios' name mentioned with everybody. So if everybody thought that Brian Norman Jr. was ducking or something like that, let's just imagine that they say he's ducking and it's true. Okay. Why y'all ain't calling him out? Why ain't nobody calling him a duck? Why ain't nobody pulling his card? The man, the youngest champion in the world, that's the easiest fight for. That's what y'all feel like. That's the easiest fight. Go ahead and see what he about. After I seen what Rocha looked like in the last fight, then you mix that in with how bad Rocha lost to Stanionis, and then how bad Brian Norman Jr. beat Stanionis. Man, ain't nobody trying to fight him. They ain't trying to step at him. But Cuevas, he's fighting in a couple of weeks. That guy's legit though. That guy's legit. I gotta go back and look. That dude Cuevas, he's definitely I don't know. Brian Norman Jr. gonna have a tough fight in a couple of weeks. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's gonna be a good matchup though. Something he's used to. He used to tough fights. But if you go back and look at all the fights Brian Norman Jr. has taken on Top Rank, because he was supposed to sign with BLK Prime at one point. But he went on, signed with Top Rank. They got him in a position as a champion right now. But it's not too many people that's thinking about Mario Barrios versus Brian Norman Jr. It's not even people out there saying Mario Barrios will wash Brian Norman Jr. It's not even people saying that. They know he the goods. They know he really with it. They definitely know he really with it. They know he the real deal. Yeah, my bad. Had to see something real quick. He said Brian Norman Sr. said he seen something in BOOtS after Karen and said he easy. So if BOOtS is easy, then 1.7 was an easy bad loss. Not really. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it wasn't an easy bag loss. Ain't nobody else trying to fight BOOtS at 147 for 1.7. That was already being said. That was already being said. And if you look at other champions that's in boxing, if Brian Norman Jr. takes that fight, that's the hardest fight you can have right now. He put the number out there. He put the number out there. And Brian Norman Jr. go out there and have a performance against BOOtS like he did against Roach. You said what Brian Norman about to get now? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me see. Probably like 300,000 or something like that. Probably like 300,000, 400,000, something like that. Something like that. something like that. But let me ask you a question though. Let's just say I agree with everything you're saying, right? Why was Brian Norman Jr. in negotiations with BOOtS before Mario Barrios and Stanionis was? Why, when Brian Norman Jr.'s father got online and explained to every fan that we want, the only reason people know about the 1.7 million is because Brian Norman Sr. got online and told everybody it was 1.7. Got to think about it. Now, you're a businessman, right? If you seeing all these other guys getting a certain amount of money for their belt, because he explained you have to actually pay to go across the street to fight other people. So you already giving up money to go across the street. Now, I'm a champion too. Let's just say me and you got a belt. I got a belt, you got a belt. Let's just say I got a belt, you got a belt. You know that you're going to be a champion for a long time, about 2 or 3 years. You know you do this, you know you're going to be a champion. So me and you in the same spot now. You going to pay extra to come over here and fight me? And you working with Bob Arum? And we see what Bob Arum is doing with Keyshawn Davis. We see what Bob Arum is doing with Abdullah Mason. When Brian Norman Jr. came over there to have a situation with BOOtS, he was going out of the plan. A-side, ain't no more A-sides no more. Ain't no more A-sides in boxing. There's no more A-sides. In my mind, there's no more A-sides. After the Earl Spence situation, I don't look at A-side fighters no more. I don't feel like there's no more A-sides. If that's the case right there, if that's the case as far as they still doing the A-side and everything else, then hey, get Barrios to fight you then. He got Stanionis. I'm gonna tell you right now, the fact that he moved that fight, the fact that they did everything for Stanionis that they didn't do for Brian Norman Jr., that's a red flag. In box, if you get $50 million fighting an MMA fighter, and you can't give me $2 or $3 million, so the same guy that just got paid, his promoter just got paid $50 million, his fighter just got paid $50 million to fight an MMA fighter. Y'all ain't got $2 or $3 million for me? I wouldn't even trust that. I wouldn't even trust it. The money they throwing around right now, and you got to think about it. These are the most talked about fighters. Brian Norman Jr. and BOOtS. That fight was talked about so much that even when they announced Lamont Roach and Tank Davis, people were still talking about Brian Norman Jr. and BOOtS. The fight got so big to the point where Greg Hackett and Brian Norman Sr. had a fight. It ain't no dudes in boxing making no noise like that. It ain't no guys that BOOtS fought that can ask him for $2 million and that say I got a belt. The only thing I heard people say was, he said A-sides will always get paid more than B-side. Not this year, bro. That's over with, bro. That's over with. Not this year. That's over with. They getting rid of all that this year. That's why the A-side stuff, they getting rid. Right? I can name a few fighters right now that was A-side. Don't nobody care about it. Ryo was A-side in his last fight. Gary Antoine Russell was A-side in the fight he lost to Puello. Tyson Fury was A-side in the first fight against Usyk. Joshua was A-side against Dubois. Joshua was A-side against Tyson Fury. I mean, not Tyson Fury, Andy Ruiz and Usyk. Earl Spence was A-side. Stephen Fulton was B-side, and look how he looked. Weight drained in another time zone. Don't even look the same in the Inoue fight that he did a couple of weeks ago. Being the A-side ain't always good. I mean, a B-side ain't always good. Canelo was a B-side, and he said that those 2 pounds that Floyd Mayweather put on him that made him lose was the worst thing that happened to him. But then I seen, you said they didn't get paid more. Canelo made $12 million fighting Floyd. Canelo didn't make nothing but $1 million before he fought Floyd. Canelo ain't sell no pay-per-views or nothing. Canelo made $12 million, and he was a prospect. Canelo was a prospect, not even a champion, and he made $12 million fighting Floyd Mayweather. Lamont Roach just made under $1 million fighting Tank Davis. Canelo made $12 million fighting Floyd as a prospect. No, I'm just throwing it out there, bro. I don't know. You saying as far as they didn't get paid more? Fury got paid more than Usyk in the first fight. Joshua got paid more. But what does that do though? I mean, Joshua got paid more, but he at the crib though. Tyson Fury got paid more, but he at the crib. You know what I'm saying? They get paid more, but they at the crib though. So the thing, what I'm confused is, he gave the man, we're not talking about $1 million more. We're talking about a couple $100,000 more. But you get the same amount of money to Stanionis. Stanionis came out and said Brian Norman Jr. is right. I want the same thing Brian Norman Jr. asked for. I want over $2 million. I want the fight outside of Philadelphia. I'm not going to Philadelphia to fight. You can look it up. It's on Boxing Voice. They got Stanionis on. Is that his name, man? I keep getting people's name mixed up tonight. Keep getting people's name mixed up, man. My mind all over the place, bro. I got so many names in my head. I gotta do some research. No. You right. That's facts. Root exposure. That's facts. BOOtS supposed to. That's the reason. BOOtS is supposed to get paid like that, and that's why I didn't give BOOtS any kind of flack, because the only reason BOOtS left PBC because he's trying to get that check. Just like Shakur, he left PBC. I mean, he left Top Rank. He trying to get that check. BOOtS made the most amount of money last year in his career so far. And Keyshawn did as well. I'm not Keyshawn, but Shakur. Shoot, that Lamont Roach fight selling, boy. Hey, Rude, they lied about that, bro. But I understand you definitely got to see more. I definitely understand that. And what you're saying as far as BOOtS, yeah, BOOtS is still in a position where he's already, sold the tickets. He's a big name, big attraction. He gonna bring the fans out. He's gonna be the reason they come. So yeah, you speaking facts as far as the A side on that situation. But what I'm saying is, I think that's gonna go away soon though. I think the only thing that's gonna dictate the A side or whatever is gonna be the pay and when guys walk out. But everything else is gonna be straight down the middle though. You talking about the pay-per-view numbers, or you talking about the sales, the ticket sales, or the purse? You talking about the purse or the ticket sales? You talking about BOOtS ENNIS? ticket sales or the purse? Because they announced the ticket sales. I think the last fight he did against Karen, that fight sold less than the fight he had against Avanesian, which was that was a surprise to me. But as far as the pay-per-view numbers, I don't know. I don't know what them where them you talking about for Tank? Or you talking about man, I'm gonna be real with you. When it comes to those pay-per-view numbers for Tank and Lamont Rose, they announced those a long time ago. From what I heard, it was under 200. It was under 250. It was around 250 or under 250. It was like around 250 or under. From what I've seen, Rude, the people who announce the real numbers on the boxing matches is the guys who actually work as TV producers, the guys who be, going to commercial. You know how guys be like, let's go to commercial. Those guys behind the scenes. Those TV producers, they put out the correct numbers that I've seen lately. I seen him do, Tank did 400. I think it was like 300 or 400 with Frank Martin. I think it was like 300, I said. Man, I said Tank did 300 or something last year. I forgot what it was. Man, people lost their mind, man. They got mad at me. And now the number's lower than that. It's gonna be hard if he rematches Lamont Roach, but people gotta understand. What people don't understand is a lot of people don't know Tank Davis like that still. A lot of people don't know Tank Davis like that still. If you ask me, I think Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia just got lucky as far as everything, but I don't know how big that fight was between him and Ryan Garcia. I don't know, the pay-per-view numbers, they starting to look funny a little bit, man, to be honest with you. Because when Floyd hit 1 million on his pay-per-views, he stayed at 1 million. Whether it was with Oscar De La Hoya or not. But for Tank to always be in the news and to be only doing like 3, 4, I know somebody was saying he did like 500, 600, 700. But if you look up TV producers on Twitter, they be putting out real numbers. They put out real numbers. But pay-per-views, man, I don't look at those no more. They put out too many fake numbers now. He said the Tank versus Roach pay-per-view numbers, though. Yeah, man, from what I've seen, you got to go with them TV producers. If you go with like YouTubers and stuff, they're going to be all over the place. People said that Ryan Garcia and Devin doing 400 was a lie. And that was a fight people said that was trash and they don't want to see. But they said that dude did 400. And I think that's accurate, or, it could, I don't know, it possibly could be lower. The reason why I say it possibly could be lower than that it can be higher than 400, that 400 number is kind of low for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, is because that fight was still talked about like 2 weeks later. And on DAZN, if you fight on DAZN and you do a pay-per-view, they still sell the pay-per-view for like 10 days after the fight. PBC, they stopped selling the pay-per-view as soon as the fight happened. But I just don't know, man. From what I've seen, after a fight, when somebody's had a big fight. Like after Ryan and Ryan and Devin fought, they had it was more talk online than actually it was after Tank and Roach fought. Because if you notice, a lot of people not talking about Roach and Tank no more. On a wide scale, you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks later, people were still talking about Haney and Garcia. Shoot, 2 months later. So for them to say, oh, Tank sold 500,000, he sold 700,000. You mean 700,000 people spent $80 on that fight? And none of them is discussing about if that was a knockdown or not? Nah, y'all can't make me believe that. No, sir. If 700,000 people paid for that fight, it would be 700,000 people online talking about, hey, man, Was that a knockdown or not? So I don't know if those numbers is real as far as the ones they be putting out as far as I was hearing 5, 6, 7. But I think pay-per-views, the numbers have been so if you even look at the all-time list, they be having different fights on the list. Like some lists that have Ryan Garcia and Tank on there, some lists don't even have that fight on there. So I'm like, nah, these numbers can't be right. I don't think pay-per-view numbers have been right since the Floyd days, to be honest with you. Probably Canelo, but I don't know. I'm guessing at that point. But I think, I'll say probably Canelo when he fought Triple G. Probably. I'm not sure. Because even that last fight when he fought Triple G, the third fight, a lot of people didn't talk about that fight. I heard more people talking about Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz than they did Canelo versus Triple G. But from what I've seen, though, the numbers that Tank has had has been like 250, 220, 300, 175, around that area. But the demographic he has, it doesn't really reach out that much because he's not fighting a mega star like that. There's no intrigue really leading up to his fights. Because one thing I have noticed, man, casuals know when somebody's fighting somebody and when they're not. Because you got to think about it. A lot of people that know who Deontay, like Tyson Fury said, nobody knows who Deontay Wilder is. Well, guess what? Y'all did a lot of numbers for people not to know who y'all are. Because nobody knew who you were either, Tyson Fury. Because when Tyson Fury, when Wilder was going to fight Tyson Fury, people said, why is he ducking Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury? I said, Tyson Fury a good fighter, man. He might be better than Anthony Joshua. I said, Tyson Fury is a good heavyweight, bro. He's a champion. And that fight did like, crazy numbers. So for Tank to be doing around those same kind of numbers, and I'm going to tell you another thing too, Lamont Roach didn't get paid that much. That means it's a red flag that Brian Norman Jr. he could possibly get more fighting boots than Tank was going to get, when Lamont Roach was going to get fighting Tank. And I don't want to count his money on nothing like that because he wasn't fighting for the money. He was telling people that already. When Lamont Roach said, I'm fighting Tank for legacy, not money. I said, yep, I'm going Lamont Roach. This is as soon as the fight was announced. I'm like, yeah, he a dog. So I definitely feel like the pay-per-view numbers kind of matter, A-side, but it's kind of going away, the A-side and pay-per-view numbers. It's not a selling point no more like it was, like it used to be. A lot of people moving away from it. Just because, Keyshawn doesn't fit into that mold as far as a pay-per-view seller or, what I'm saying, like that. As far as he can sell pay-per-views, he's a star now. But he's not a person that, he's not going to be A-side because somebody sat up here and said, unless he fights somebody like Tank, but he ain't going to be a B-side fighter because people said, well, I'm on, and Barrio say, well, I've been on pay-per-view before. Or, anybody else will say, well, I've been on pay-per-view before. Well, you're going to have to be B-side. It's like, what's the point of that happening right now at this point? If he fights Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko was B-side against Devin Haney. But that's still Lomachenko. It didn't really matter. I don't think Devin Haney was having Lomachenko jump through hoops as a B-side fighter. So a lot of times I don't look at it that way, but I understand what you be saying as far as that. And the numbers is, with pay-per-view, it kind of goes in. But you can't trust the media these days when they reporting certain news in boxing. You got to find a couple of credible guys that'll tell the news straight down the middle, but man, a lot of these people ain't telling the stuff the right way, man. Just being honest. That's why it's a couple of fighters like these guys slipping through the cracks. They're not the pretty names or anything, but these are dogs, though. They got nothing to lose. Everybody from the hood. Everybody that box is not from the suburbs and everything else. That's why I don't realize why people say, "Oh man, you know, certain guys ain't from the hood." Man, everybody in boxing from the hood. So what? Dudes still go out there and quit. Dudes still go out there and cheat. Dudes still can't make weight. That don't make you less of a man or more of a man. Just to be honest. Shit, it's a lot of NFL players that's in the NFL that grew up in $1 million homes. You know what I'm saying? Look at Deion Sanders' sons. They grew up in $1 million homes. Still know how to throw the football. See, they can't relate. A lot of people can't relate to people like Lamont Roach, Brian Norman Jr. They in the same situation, working with their fathers. Fathers know that they wanted the best. But you just can't take everything and run with it as far as money. But I'll tell you one person that gave Keyshawn Davis trouble that a lot of people don't talk about was Nair Albright. That's a 135 that's overlooked. That would have been a good fight for a lot of guys at 135. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I'm going to post this. I'm going to record this right now. But I feel like if Andy Cruz want to show me something, and you know, these guys have the same dealings with the same people as far as out of Philly. You know, I know he's working with BOOtS team, and I know that Nair Albright's a Philly guy from that area. But shoot, I would definitely like to see Nair Albright jump in the ring with a guy like Andy Cruz. I'm not saying as far as him being a gatekeeper, but that was a tough. If you go back to my breakdown I had about Keyshawn Davis and Nair Albright, shoot, I was almost gonna give Nair Albright a chance to beat Keyshawn. Like, dude is that good. One of the best fighters that has like 2 losses. And had a big upset. Almost had another upset against Keyshawn. That's a no contest now because he failed the test, but he's a guy at 135 that's overlooked. That's why I'm looking at Williams and Pater now. If I'm a guy like Williams and Pater and Tevin Farmer, and I'm going to tell you another thing too, Tevin Farmer is a reason why a lot of us wanted Tank to fight him. Look, Tevin Farmer has the same skill set as a Lamont Roach. He would have gave Tank Davis a lot of issues. That's why a lot of people was always asking, hey, why Tank Davis ain't fighting Tevin Farmer? Tevin Farmer, slick 135. He get busy, got underrated power. It seems like he gets stronger as the weight goes up. But what people don't realize is a lot of American fighters, that's why I said, man, we got talent out here, bro. People saying, oh, man, we ain't got no talent like that. That's why I said, man, if these the only guys that can fight somebody, we ain't got no talent in America. And I was saying that sarcastically, as far as we ain't got no talent. And everybody subscribe to Rule Exposure too, man. Everybody out there, if y'all out there, please subscribe to Rule Exposure. He puts out good information. Good YouTube channel too as well. Rule Exposure, definitely. He's one of the first ones I seen talk about the bite between, matter of fact, he was like the first. The bite between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. He said that weeks ago. But definitely a good channel to follow. Dude put out credible information. I'm definitely not a hater. If I see somebody putting out some good stuff, I'll definitely recommend it. Dude definitely puts out real good content. Underrated. And he's hilarious, but in a truthful way. But bro's definitely hilarious. But he was speaking some facts though, like as far as in the Norman situation, yeah, I can see why people are looking at that like, man, we got a guy who's almost a prospect recently that's asking for A-side money. I can look at that, but people got to understand though. It wasn't no easy way. It wasn't no easy time getting here like he was. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have like the high profile managers and promoters and everything from day one. You know what I'm saying? He had to get it out the mud. But I would definitely like to see a lot of these guys step up to the plate though. But Nair Albright would have been he would be a good fight at 135. He would be a good fight at 135. Man, to be honest with you, I know Nair Albright ain't thinking about moving up to 140, but shoot, Tito Machado would be a good fight. I think he'll get busy with Tito. Put some hands on him too. I think he's very underrated. I had him possibly beating Chris Colbert before he pulled out of that last fight, which was very nasty work. I can't believe he pulled out of that fight. But these two guys are in the same position though. Yeah, he funny, man. He hilarious. Yeah, he definitely hilarious. Bro, we putting out some good stuff. But I'm gonna tell you who's one of the most underrated fighters in boxing right now. And I was watching her this weekend. That's why I didn't put out too much content. TIARA Brown is one of the most underrated fighters I've seen in the game. As far as a female fighter, she's one of the most underrated fighters, female or male. She's probably the most underrated fighter in the game. Wants all the smoke. Has a big fight coming up this weekend. I think this is the biggest fight coming on this weekend between her and Scott Nicholson. I think this is gonna be the biggest fight that comes on this weekend. I mean, you cannot overlook this matchup. This is gonna be on the Kambosos versus I think it's Wiley. Kambosos just got a new opponent, Jordan. He's not fighting this weekend, but do not overlook this fight between TIARA Brown and Scott Nicholson. Man, TIARA Brown is a beast. You go back and look at her recent fights. And then the thing about it is, I don't think she's really put it all together in one performance. Yeah, shout out to Aaron, man. Just subscribe to Rude Exposure. Yeah, appreciate Aaron for hanging in there. Yeah, dog. Hey, Aaron, I tried to come on here earlier, bro. Man, I know why my video's been skipping lately. I had too many videos and stuff on this streaming thing I be using. Way too many videos, bro. I done posted like 1,000 videos and pictures since I've been using this thing. I be forgetting I be doing so much research. But I ain't gonna lie though, I'm gonna double back. After this, I'm really supposed to do another live right now. But I'm really supposed to double back, but I think that one's gonna be members only. And I'm gonna just premiere it in the morning for everybody who ain't see it. But if you're a member, if you want to be a member, definitely join. Because from what I see, I'm gonna start reporting news that's gonna happen probably later on this year. If everybody knows, if you was on this channel last year, Aaron was here as well. Shout out to Aaron Griffin. I was talking about the Dana White thing last March. So that was exactly a year ago today. The guy, Yadier Herrera, everybody's talking about, I posted a video about him a year ago. So we're definitely in the right spot right now to make some things happen. But people, I'm not like a reactionary type of guy. I know that kind of sucks as far as being a boxing channel, but I don't really react to fights. Unless it's like, you know, something that's controversial or something, but I don't really too much react to certain results of fights because, you know, it's expected, especially in the Lamont Roach the Tank situation. It's just hard for me to react to certain things because I'm not surprised by a lot of things. Ray Lewis had the greatest quote I ever heard in my life. Like, he's a man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a man just like I am. So when everybody looks at certain boxers, which they are special in their own way, and they're definitely incredible, and they do a good thing in boxing, they're definitely appreciated from the fans because, you know, we do a lot of things to support these fighters. But these guys are human just like the next fighter, though. That's one thing I've had to realize before I started my YouTube channel. Before I started this channel, I had to realize it's guys like Lamont Roach that's just as good as a Tank Davis or anybody else. And I always told myself I'm not going to start a YouTube channel and talk about boxing until I actually grow up and realize that. But we got a lot of people who still got a lot of growing up to do. It's a lot of growing up they got to do. People got mad at me because I said something about Berlanga being fat today. Appreciate that, bro. You already know, dog. AG, you already know, bro. I had to, thanks to you, bro, I had to cut back on the sauce. You was like, bro, you giving out way too much sauce. I was like, bro, you right. You kind of helped me out with that. I was giving out way too much sauce. You see, I pulled back on doing that. I'm like, man, I'm giving out way too much information. I'm like, I'm giving out way too much information. Shoot, man, they robbed her. Cause look, Aaron, cause we was on top of the Lamont Roach situation a couple of weeks ago. Rude Exposure was as well. He was on top of the Lamont Roach situation. He saw the live. I know both of y'all watched it. We was on top of the Lamont Roach situation, but Aaron is one of the first people I realized that he's not a Tank Davis hater, first of all, but he's realistic about stuff, even more realistic than I am. Because if people don't know it, Tank Davis still one of my favorite fighters. That's never gonna change. Never gonna change. But I had to look at things because I was like, man, Tank my favorite fighter, bro. I don't want to pick against him in this Roach situation, but I like Roach in this fight. I was like, man, I want to pick Roach. I remember one day I was like, man, I might switch back to Tank. Aaron was like, man, I'm going with Roach. I was like, bro, I'm glad you said that because you talked me off that ledge that day. I'm like, man, I'm thinking about going back toward Tank. Aaron like, nah, I'm going with Roach, dog. That's how I know Aaron be breaking down these fights, bro. He be saying things at a high level. He very underrated when it comes to breaking down fights. Like, bro be knowing. Like, you really be knowing. Sometimes I be like, dang, you be saying stuff I don't notice. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold on now. Aaron speaking facts on this one. And my dog PD as well. PD be speaking facts a lot of times. So those a lot of people. Him, Rude Exposure, Aaron, Native Wild Man, a lot of other people as well. Al Pal, Mimic. You know, it's a lot of other people I'm missing out on right now, but they definitely break down fights a lot better than I do. So it's almost like, you know, picking their brains is easier than just going to watch the fight or looking at some film. But yeah, I be trying to be ahead of things though, man. I learned that from you know, it's just naturally, that's how I am for real. I always like to be ahead of the curve. I always like to be ahead of the curve, man. Especially in boxing. Because one thing I don't want to do in boxing is I don't want to have a situation like at one point I was overlooking a Manny Pacquiao. I'll be truthful. At one point I was overlooking a Manny Pacquiao at a certain point. At one point I was overlooking Usyk before he came to heavyweights. At one point I was overlooking Bitterbiv. So I've overlooked, at one point I was overlooking Bam. Not really, just need to see more, but kind of overlooking them. So I can be truthful about certain things. But as far as on the home run hits, like the home runs, like when it's time to get a home run, that's when I show up. Because I just think that, just like TIARA Brown, I don't know, bro, to be honest with you, this weekend probably gonna be the hardest fight I had to pick in a long time. It's probably gonna be the hardest fight I had to pick in a long time. Cause people don't know it, I was close to leaning toward Morrell to fight. I meant to be Benavidez. But I was like, nah, I ain't rolling with Morrell on this. He ain't got enough experience. 2 more years. I kept saying 2 more years, he's gonna be different. 2 more years, he'll have a good chance. I think even Benavidez said that, like, give him a year, give him 2 years. Like, people will see it. Morrell's gonna be bigger in like 2 years. They gonna be like, man, he should have fought Benavidez then. I'm like, I told you. But I love how things are shaping up right now for American boxing, because people was trolling American boxers last year as far as us not having talent, posting prospects getting knocked out by guys 10 years older than them. I'm like, bro, what's going on out here? So to see a guy like Lamont Roach go out here, and I'm gonna be real with you, I haven't even gone that far to break down that certain situation, but I have noticed Lamont Roach, is he getting the same type of credit and stuff that other guys are getting, like Isaac Cruz? If Ryan Garcia would have had a draw against Tank Davis, would he have got more credit than what Lamont Roach is getting right now? Absolutely. I think if Ryan Garcia would have had the same performance that Lamont Roach had against Tank Davis, it would be a lot more people saying that that was a good performance by that guy who went the distance and had a draw with Tank. Look at Isaac Cruz. People still always go back to the Tank fight. But I told people he's one-dimensional though. And so is Tank in certain ways. Because when you get in a real elite fight, Tank ain't using all his weapons like that. So against a Keyshawn Davis, he's a superior boxer. Keyshawn Davis is not just a puncher. In the last couple of fights, he's been more of a puncher, but he's a boxer. At a high level too, silver medalist. That's why when I look at his situation, I say, oh man, Andy Cruz, he can go out there and lose to Andy Cruz and still beat everybody else. Andy Cruz is a gold medalist. And it's an age difference and styles match up. Oh yeah, it's a lot of talent, bro. Hey, matter of fact, Aaron, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna do man, let me show you something. I made a video, let me show you this. I ain't never showed nobody. I made a prospect. I made a thumbnail for prospects. I was supposed to do a video for prospects December 27, 2024. This December 27, 2024. These are the prospects I had on here. These are the prospects I got. You got Lamont Roach. Now look, let me tell you how deep this goes. I got Lamont Roach's brother right there on the front page. This before he even. I got Lamont Roach's little brother right here on the bottom. They go Scooter Davis right there. Derek Davis, who was fighting on Tank undercard. They go Shakur Stevens' cousin. Got Joseph Brown on the money team at the bottom. A lot of people know about Carmel Moman, but they don't know about Joseph Brown. This dude Daniel Blankus at the top. I was supposed to do this live like 3 months ago. So when I tell people I got a lot of content I ain't even put up yet. And then that same day, right? I had put up another picture. But I'm gonna end up doing this prospect video like at least tomorrow, bro. I'm gonna find out a way to do it tomorrow. I'm gonna look at it at least tomorrow. But I be having to do all this studying. That studying be taking up a lot of time, though, dog. Let me see. He said, "What's up, Darius? What's going on, dog?" He said, "I picked Richard Torres and knock out Villanello. Villanello's get based in later rounds. I want to see Torres face names like F.A. Ajaba and Jared Anderson." Yeah, F.A. To be honest with you, Richard Torres gonna have a lot of chances to fight some guys. A late stoppage by Torres. Oh man, you said late stoppage? I'm kind of leaning towards that. That sounds good. Cause Villanello does fade later rounds. And I think that Torres can do a little bit more than what guys like Makhmudov and Ajagba did, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Cause Villanello, yeah, that is a good pick. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that is a good choice. That's a good point. Him getting a late stoppage. 10-round fight. This Torres first 10-round fight though. Hey, Rush, this is Torres' first fight. I ain't got into it yet as far as doing research. I'm gonna definitely get into it. Cause I'm gonna start breaking down these fights coming on this weekend. It's a lot of fights coming on this weekend. But Torres is his first 10-round fight now. I know Villanello only had three 10-round fights, and one of them only went 10 rounds. So he's not that ahead of the curve. That's a good matchup though, man. I like Torres. I like Torres. Yeah, I like Torres. Yeah, he can get it done. He can get it done. He's putting on a little bit of weight too. He was 236 his last fight. That's a good weight for him. Yeah, I like Torres. Torres been putting on some good weight. Cause he started out around like 220. Now he's up to like 236. He putting on some good weight. So yeah, that's a good choice. A late stoppage, yeah, that's a good choice. Cause Villanello, he gonna have to come to fight. Villanello's gonna have to come to fight, bro. If Villanello don't come to fight, he's cooked. I like Jair Tucker. But I don't like when he crosses his feet when he's going back. Like if you're a boxer, you can literally like push him and he'll fall down. He crosses his feet a lot. Like when he's walking over, when he's stepping over, he crosses his feet like literally like he's sitting in the chair with his feet crossed. That's one thing I noticed. Jair Tucker, he gotta get that footwork together. I think his father is coaching him. No, he's a good coach. His dad is on point. But definitely want him to get that footwork together and because he gets in the ring with a certain guy. I think that's caused him a lot of trouble in the past, but he get in the ring with a certain guy, you're gonna have trouble. You gotta work on that footwork. If his footwork stays the same like that, it's gonna be hard, man, to actually advance his career like that. And that's my only issue with him is him crossing his feet. But if you look at his last fight, I want you to check that out though. It might have been either the last fight or the fight before that. But Jair Tucker was crossing his feet way too much. It was a fight he had last year though. Second half of the year. Had to be after June or after that. You said 230? 230 will be good. 240? 250 ain't bad. You said you're a shorter guy? 240? 250? 240, 250. 250 is good. If you need to if it's more fat than muscle, I'll say 230-ish, 240. 240 to 260. I'm telling you, man, all you gotta do is get some frozen kale. Look, listen, all you gotta do is get some frozen kale. I don't know if you know what kale is, but it's like lettuce or whatever. You get some frozen kale, put it in the freezer. Get you some frozen fruit. Get you some apple juice or some cranberry juice. Put it in the blender. Turn it into a smoothie. Let it cut everything up. All the kale, and let it cut up all the fruit and everything else. If you drink that every morning, drink it every morning. First thing you do, drink a whole cup of it in the morning. A whole blender full of kale and frozen fruit. You'll lose like 20 pounds in like 3 weeks. But you really got to do it though. And it's hot right now. You'll be 250 in no time. That's why they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You know, people don't know it, but what you eat in the morning determines whether you is possibly gonna be overweight or not. You know, a lot of people don't eat breakfast. They just go strictly into eating meats and carbs or whatever. You know, some countries, people wake up in the morning to eat rice and meat or beef. But yeah, you just gotta add a smoothie in the morning, because that's gonna help you get that weight off. By obviously going to the bathroom a lot more, digesting your food a lot more. But if your body is basically in a situation where you just randomly using the bathroom, and I'm talking about as far as, you know, the other way. If you're taking a number 2 like randomly during times throughout the day, that smoothie will cut all that out, and you'll be able to get all that toxic food out of your body in the morning. Yeah, that ain't bad. But as far as all the food that sits on your stomach and that's not turning into energy, that's just sitting on your stomach at night, that's putting on bad weight, that smoothie and everything will help you kind of make sure you get all the bad stuff out of your body in the morning. It'll make sure, once you drink that smoothie every day like that, it'll make sure you go to the bathroom every morning before you even leave the house. And it makes you digest all the bad food every day. So that's the easiest way. That's the easiest way to lose weight. That's the easy way to lose weight. Trust me. They need to hire your boy as a nutritionist. I get them pounds off. But yeah, that'll definitely work though. If you add something like that in the morning before you eat anything else, you good. But gotta be more fruits and everything in the morning. Fruits and vegetables in the morning. You can eat fruits in the morning, and I'm telling you, you drink a smoothie, you eat fruit. If you eat fruit and drink fruit smoothie in the morning with some kale or whatever, and Bro, by the time you get to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll be having your first real solid meal. You know what I'm saying? So you could be full throughout the morning without having to eat a full meal. So, and it helps your metabolism out. And that kale will have more nutrients in it than most of the greens and stuff that you're putting in your body. But yeah, that'll help out a lot. Oh yeah, I'm in Alabama right now. You say you in Jersey? Yeah, it's getting hot right now, man. But it's still cold. It was cold yesterday. Last night it was cold. You know, it's still they still got that on and off hot thing. Then it's cold, hot, then it's cold. They got all that going on right now. They trying to get somebody sick out here. But yeah, if you do that though, you ain't gotta to go through all the heat and everything to lose weight. It'll fall off, trust me. That weight will fall right off. Because if at this point right now, you can turn a lot of that stuff into muscle. And while you're doing that, transforming your body, get in the weight room, do a lot of, just upper body activities, pull-ups, sit-ups, up-downs. I don't know if you ever seen that little wheel people be having. It look like you on a motorcycle or whatever. Where guys work on their abdominal area. It's on that little wheel they use where they're on their knees and they go in and out with the wheel. Yeah, it's a lot of activities you can do. Mostly core activities though. Pull-ups, jogging. Yeah, all that small stuff for get that weight off small. Little by little. So you won't have to. You're not trying to get down to 200 pounds or nothing. So it's not gonna be that serious, but it will fall off, man. Just gotta pay attention to everything you're using, what you're putting in your body. But I think as far as in this state of boxing right now, these three fighters, they're gonna get overlooked so bad when it comes down to it. I know Keyshawn he has the knockouts recently on primetime television. It shouldn't take that to grab everybody's attention. I think that's why Lamont Roach snuck up on people. I told people recently, the knockouts, I kind of love that a lot of people get knockouts because then people, you always are, even when I was watching boxing growing up, you always look towards the guys who get knockouts. But I would be lying if I said my favorite boxers were guys who got knockouts. I can't really think of my favorite boxers who was knocking people out growing up that I liked just because they were knocking people out. I don't think I ever looked at fighters like that. The only fighters I liked growing up was Mexican style fighters, fighters who fight in the inside, and guys who are defensive minded. But as far as the knockout styles, I think that's overrated in this time in boxing. Because as you've seen, man, a lot of guys, when they get in the ring with somebody who's really like that, who's not cutting corners. I know a lot of times, too, fighters cut corners with certain fighters, and they look better in a certain fight than they do in another fight. I think a lot of that time, it definitely exposes, man, a lot of things, man, like I said before. Because you got to realize, what people don't realize is, even if one of these fighters get by past a guy that you think that's overrated or something, or he's not that good, it could just be a style matchup. Even with Tank Davis' situation, he still can go out there and probably knock out multiple people. Yeah, Mike Tyson. That's about it. That's a fact. That's about it. That is about it. And Aaron is so right about that. Even as a kid, I was like, man, I don't know why I like Floyd better than Roy Jones. And Roy Jones was that guy. Around this time, didn't nobody care about Floyd Mayweather. Nobody even knew who he was. And man, Roy Jones was that guy at this time. You can ask anybody, ask Andre Ward, all them guys. Roy Jones was that guy. And he was getting knockouts and everything. He was looking way more spectacular. If you look at Roy Jones highlights, bro, you can't compare no boxer to him. But for some reason, I gravitated towards Floyd. And this before Floyd was Money Mayweather. Most people who like Floyd, they gravitated towards him when he became Money Mayweather. And people say, oh, he had to do the money thing. Floyd Mayweather had to do that money thing in order to get people's attention. The man was boxing all those years, all the way until he was 30 years old. He had the same resume he got now, and people wasn't paying attention to him. That's why you have to give Oscar De La Hoya credit, man. Oscar De La Hoya getting in the ring with him at the age that he did, it was something that guys just don't do. Yeah, Wilder was like 15 years later, 20 years later. But I wouldn't even put Wilder in there. Wilder was just a guy who fought everybody. You know what I'm saying? He's still a guy who fight everybody. Wilder just a staple. He's not gonna get the credit he deserves until they do like Wilder like the rest of these boxers. They wait until they retire and wait until they dead. As soon as everybody thought Wilder was retired, everybody was like, oh, he's so great. I know y'all remember that 2 years ago. After he fought Fury that third time, and then he went and got that knockout against Elenis, and he was like, yeah, I'm finna retire. Everybody was talking about, oh yeah, Wilder's just so great. So yeah, even though he was getting knockouts, Aaron, they weren't looking at him as a great fighter like we were. He's not gonna get the credit until, everything basically is laid out. Once they go through the whole heavyweight division and you see who's the best and who's not, then he'll start getting credit. But as far as from the guys who actually box, Tyson Fury feels like Wilder is still a dangerous guy. Usyk feels like he's dangerous. But you ask somebody who's never been in the ring before, they'll say he's a bum. He can't box. So, they look at him as a guy who just power, but he brought excitement back to boxing, though. He brought excitement back to boxing. I'm going to tell you why Wilder's a big role. He played a big role in that. As soon as Turkey Al-Sheikh got involved with boxing, who was the first person he went and got? The person that fought Wilder. The first person that Turkey Al-Sheikh went and got was Tyson Fury. Now, if Deontay Wilder would have never fought Tyson Fury, Joshua didn't fight Tyson Fury. He still ain't fought Tyson Fury. So most of these people wouldn't even have nothing to talk about if Deontay Wilder ain't fight Tyson Fury. But yeah, I understand what Aaron talking about. But Wilder is just none of these guys are. People say Wilder's just one-dimensional. All these guys is one-dimensional. Tank Davis one-dimensional. He just got outboxed by Lamont Roach. And people can sit up here and watch Lamont Roach fights over and over and over, and they still couldn't understand what he could do to take away what Tank Davis can't do. But from what I've seen, man, Lamont Roach is he's a highly skilled boxer, and I look at Lamont Roach the same way I look at Wilder. The things that Wilder can't do, Lamont Roach can. The things that Lamont Roach can't do, Wilder can. The things that Tank Davis can do, Lamont Roach can't. But nobody's gonna get up here and say Tank Davis can't box though, because he went to got a draw with Lamont Roach. But you'll have people come up here and say Tyson Fury is one of the best boxers of all time. But then they'll say Wilder getting a draw with Tyson Fury, he can't box. You've even had boxers say that. And other people. That's why I look at these guys side-eye when they sit up here and get on their knees for Tank. These dudes be getting on their knees for Tank Davis after he got a draw with Lamont Roach. Now, what's more impressive? Getting a draw with Lamont Roach or getting a draw with Tyson Fury? And I like Lamont Roach. I think Lamont Roach is a beast. I always have. But I would rather get a draw with Tyson Fury, though. It's not even a question. But have y'all noticed how they treat the draw? And it's something about that too that I definitely don't want to go away from. Cause for everybody tomorrow, I'm gonna do live panels tomorrow. I'm gonna do it in the morning. I'm gonna do it at night. And I ain't doing it to argue and then I just want to hear what people got to say. Cause people got mad at me because I said Berlanga was fat. The dude was overweight, and the people got upset about that today. So I want to see any Boat Equals Puerto Rican fans that got upset about that. I definitely want to see what's going on tomorrow. I think I'm going to be on that type of time tomorrow. I'm relaxed. I'm chilling right now, but I don't like nobody to really play with me like that, the way they played with me today when I did my other live earlier today. I don't like to be played with like that. Like, bruh, y'all already made it cool not to tell the truth out here. So we're going to have a generation of kids running around telling lies and stuff. We're going to have a generation of kids that's out here telling lies because we got grown-ups out here telling, bro, if you realize, I'm going to tell y'all something, this is going to be deeper than boxing right now. Just 2 seconds. If y'all notice in society right now, the most popular people online or in boxing or in sports, period, or whatever, are some of the biggest liars I ever seen in my life. They are making the role models right now in the world some of the biggest liars, just so people can say, oh, he black like me, he Mexican like me, he white like me. Oh, he Asian like me. He one of the biggest liars in the world, but he look like me. They sacrificing all that so they can exercise their feelings. But you throwing a kid's whole future away so you can win an argument? I'm still trying to figure out why we testing for PEDs in boxing. I heard that don't matter no more. Ain't nobody man enough to tell me why we still testing for PEDs, but don't nobody care. You can't have no realistic boxing conversation with some of these people these days. It ain't about boxing. People that break down the whole fight, then they'll say, oh, well, he from the city I'm from. Well, Tank Davis from Baltimore like me. Brian Norman Jr. from Atlanta like I am. I'm sitting on here talking facts about him. And he's done more in his at this time in the sport of boxing than most of these guys is walking around. He's doing the same kind of things that Tank Davis was doing in his career. Coming in, knocking out guys, coming out of nowhere. He just ain't got no Floyd Mayweather cosign. So don't act like we ain't out here playing favorites now. It's a lot of people out here playing favorites. It's a lot of people playing favorites. That's why everybody running around trying to see what prospect they can latch on to. That's the most popular boxers right now in boxing, prospects. And that shows you how little people care about Tank Davis actually fighting Shakur Stevenson, because if a prospect can call out Shakur Stevenson and people say, yeah, I want the prospect to fight him, that lets you know people ain't trying to fight Shakur Stevenson like that. The only person to call out Shakur Stevenson is a 140 and a prospect. That's it. Devin Haney said he wanted to fight him, but wasn't nobody trying to pay nobody 20, 30 million for that fight. Like they're paying everybody else. See, what I see right now is the fans, they need certain fighters, especially American fighters, to get a name off of that, but they don't respect the journey that they took to get to where they at right now. See, people love to see a guy like Brian Norman Jr. fighter standing on us or something, but they not gonna respect his status or what he took to get where he's at. They'll love to use his name though to build themselves up. See, nobody respects. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody, but a lot of people act like they don't respect Stephen Fulton for what he's done. But then they'll still give him credit for an anyway win. That's one of the most disgusting things I've seen, to be honest with you. That's when I knew boxing was at an all-time high of being biased. People said Stephen Fulton lost the last fight. He gonna get knocked out against Brandon Figueroa. But the man went out there and had a spectacular fight after that. Ain't nobody said nothing since. So I don't know, where we stand at on certain things when it comes to boxing. But they better fix it soon because a lot of people are not going for this. If they don't change it soon, the sport of boxing is going to be a whole different era. It's not going to be. That's why they don't want Dana White in boxing. The reason why guys don't want Dana White in boxing is because he going to reveal all this stuff. If Dana White would have been in charge of boxing, Tank and Lamont Roach would have fought 2 years ago. Tank and Lamont Roach would have fought 2 years ago if that would have happened. But yeah, what Aaron said earlier, the only people we really looked at as far as knockout guys is like Wilder and Mike. But you can still say that Mike still fought Evander and Lennox Lewis. And it's still guys that didn't fight Evander or Lennox Lewis. You have some people say, well, that's it. That's all he fought. Bro, it's guys that didn't fight Evander or Lennox Lewis. And that's after Mike got out of jail. Then he says, and then, even with Wilder, he's out. Look at the size he's at. Fought Tyson Fury 3 times. Yeah, it's a lot of personal agendas out there. It's a lot of personal agendas out there, bro. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. That Dana White one, I'm gonna say that for later on. though. I'm telling you, I got something for that. That Dana White narrative though. For people to be sitting out, I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of dudes who be race hustling in boxing. They scared of Dana White coming into boxing. Because they know they can't do the black-white thing like they used to no more. Oh, the Mexican fighters, they're the toughest fighters and everything else. And I like Mexican fighters. But all that, the Mexican fighters are the toughest fighters. Oh, the Ukrainian fighters, they're the most skillful fighters. Oh, the Eastern European fighters, they're running boxing right now. See, they trying to, see, what y'all don't know is they've been trying to push the professional boxing like it's the Olympics. It's a reason why people don't watch the Olympics in boxing. They're trying to do what they did in the Olympics in professional boxing. I think Usyk has said some things like that. Triple G. These are European guys, Eastern Europeans. The best of the best that people said. People said that Usyk and Triple G is some of the best fighters to ever come across boxing in the last 20 years. These guys said boxing is corrupt and they're not black. And Triple G got cheated. They probably thought he was light skinned or something. They probably thought he was his dad was black and his mom was white type of thing. I don't know what it was. I know he got cheated. Because why is he going over there getting cheated? And then all of a sudden, years later, he's getting put on the committee to fix the problem. But the problem is still going on 20 years later, 30 years, 40 years later. Now I'm starting to see now that they're openly not trying to give American fighters gold medals. I've seen recently. I've seen a lot of fights where guys got cheated in the Olympics. So if people want to know where they're robbing, where they start robbing people at, it's in the Olympics. But that's why a lot of people don't feel like they should pay for certain stuff. There's too many personal agendas in boxing and narratives, like Aaron said, to the point when somebody like, let me spend my last to watch this boxing fight. Man, you know, a lot of guys sit up here, work all week. Then Friday come, they just want to sit in the house and relax, have a couple of hours to themselves, sit back and chill. Don't nobody want to be stressed out watching no boxing fight, trying to worry about if it's a knee or not. That's stressful. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's not supposed to be a sport where you get stressed out or you feel like somebody's racially attacking you, where you got good dudes running around saying racial slurs. That's okay because they a certain ethnicity or a certain color. But if it was reverse, guys would be canceled. So when everybody's like, oh, why is Dana White coming into boxing? Because of that stuff, man. Because of that stuff right there. He's like, oh, man, we got rid of that personal agenda stuff. People forget Dana White was a guy that came out a couple of years ago and said, I don't know why Bob Arum was talking bad about Terrence Crawford. I signed Terrence Crawford right now. Y'all remember when all the boxing fans was laughing at Terrence Crawford? Because Bob Arum was saying that he, where is it at? Dana White. See, when people think you're going to lose a fight, boy, they talk about you like you ain't nothing, boy. When people think you're going to lose a fight, they talk about you like a dog, bro. That's why when some people be like, man, why can't Face the Boxing be talking the way he does? Because, bro, you don't like people that you don't know. You don't know me and you don't know these boxers. You don't like none of us. I know why some of y'all watch boxing. And guess what? Bob Arum was able to do this. You know why? Because everybody was playing ball in boxing. Everybody was playing ball. Terrence Crawford was finna hang it up before Turkey Al-Sheikh came into the picture. If Turkey Al-Sheikh wouldn't have stepped in after that Errol Spence fight, Terrence Crawford was gonna hang it up. And he's not the first boxer who was the best boxer in the game, and he was forced out of boxing. They tried to force Terrence Crawford out of boxing. You had everybody around talking about building whole channels. People built channels just to say Terrence Crawford is trash. Think about that. We have black men in America that started boxing channels just to sit up here and say Terrence Crawford is garbage. I've never loved another boxer that much. That's one thing I'm gonna say. I never loved another man that much. Even my dad will sit here and say, man, you sound stupid. But I remember this right here. Only thing I don't like about Dana White is when he spoke about that Ryan Garcia crap. And I'm definitely going to point that out. But everything else, he ain't saying nothing different than what these other promoters ain't saying. So I can't really even get too mad about it. Like he said the same thing everybody else said. He on code. But he said he would love to, now mind you, I'm dropping some hints on something right now. This is top secret stuff right now. I know I look like I'm basic or whatever, but I'm dropping some jewels right now, some heavy jewels. But Dana White said he would love for the opportunity to hold on, let me get this thing that popped up. Let me see. Dana White said, "Can you imagine if I said that? Are you effing kidding me? You guys would murder me if I said that." He said, I'd never hear the end of that. That's what you do? That's not Crawford's effing problem. That's your problem. His problem isn't to figure out how much money you make. He said, you effing signed a deal with this kid, and how many people have we have on the roster? Our roster is very inflated right now. We have a very big roster. The biggest roster we've ever had in the history of the company. I have to pay all these kids. How I pay them is not their effing problem. It's my problem. He said, imagine me saying, oh, I got to pay Conor McGregor this much money. I could have built the house in Beverly Hills. He said, shut the F up, you scumbag. Pay your effing fighter what you owe him. Do your job. Bob Arum is a piece of... Oh, man. He cussed him out, man. Cussed him out. Yeah, but that's something I'm getting too deep into right now. That's for later on. Yeah, but Dana White wasn't gonna step into that situation knowing that these guys are moving like this. I wouldn't even step in the boxing right now knowing these guys are moving like this. What? This is disrespectful. Have some respect for these fighters out here, man. And this is why, and if you notice, after that, Bob Arum said all that, what has happened since then? You've had multiple fighters exit immediately. You've had many fighters exit Top Rank since then. Many fighters. If you look at the guys who's been on Top Rank in the last 5 to 10 years, it's a long list of people. Have they made a name over there in Top Rank? Not really. I mean, Berlanga got showcased over there. He was on ESPN, but was he the best talent that was over there? I don't think so. So that's why Bob Arum said, you know what? I'm complaining about Terrence Crawford, but let me go get 10 more fighters that just like Terrence Crawford. Let me go get a Keyshawn Davis. Let me go get an Abdullah Mason. Yeah, it is, bro. I'm gonna say that for the live. I had dropped the video already though, Aaron. You seen the video already. Matter of fact, what time is it? See, the video just went live. I'll let everybody have that. But Aaron seen the video earlier, so he know what I'm talking about. But I can't get into it too much right now, but Aaron knows what I'm talking about. And Aaron knows what I was talking about Dana White last year. I made that video members only though, because, you know, too much stuff on there for me to be just discussing in the open. It's only $1 though if y'all want to be a member. It's cool. If not, it is what it is. But Dana White, yeah, he definitely has some issues. He's already beef with Bob Arum. He's already beef with Oscar De La Hoya. I don't know what Dana White's relationship is with Eddie Hearn, but if he has some issues with him too, then that mean he doesn't like anybody. And then if you don't realize it, Dana White tried to make a fight with Bob Arum. I forgot who it was though. He was trying to get Bob Arum. This is like 2020 to make some kind of, what fight was it? Let me look it up real quick. Oh yeah, he tried to make. Oh, oh. Let me tell you something. Well, I ain't even gonna say that, bro. I'm giving out too much sauce, bro. Let me chill. Let me chill. Let me chill. I'm tripping. Let me chill. Let me chill on out. Let me chill out. I can't discuss that right now. Yeah, I don't know why I got Centillion name mixed up with Stanionis earlier. Yeah, I got his name mixed up with Stanionis earlier. But I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about earlier about that boy Boots like he in shape, boy. Shout out to Boots Ennis. Shout out to Boots Ennis, man. They got some big fights coming up in boxing, man. I love boxing right now. That's why I can't really even talk bad about nobody. I love boxing, man. Especially right now. I still gotta do a post fight for Mo Williams. I still miss that fight. I know people gonna be like, what? Hey, you putting that post fight out 3 days later? Yeah, bro, it's like that. I can't be early all the time. But yeah, like I said, man, a couple of months ago, Keyshawn Davis is in a great position to replace a Tank Davis. What people got to realize is, bro, this is America, and not only that, but you have fighters from other places around the world that's competing at a high level that come to America. So it's particularly not just Americans that reside here in this country. It's other guys that come here for opportunities to fight as well from other places. Stanionis come from Lithuania, so it's a lot of guys that come here for opportunities. But everybody's not an easy fight, man. That's why we have to fight guys at a high level. That's why we say we don't like guys going around picking and choosing fights. Because it catches up to you, then we can't defend it. Because the whole time you ain't been getting better. It's a large percentage of fighters that's not getting better, and it's a large percentage that is getting better. That's going to be the difference where boxing is going right now. We're moving from the era of where people used to look at knockouts and power and everything else and think that was the end all be all, but now it's like you got to really look at guys in a 12-round fight, and we're seeing now that people are having issues scoring fights. Having issues scoring fights is a very bad look, man. It is a very bad look not to be able to score fights right now. I think not being able to score fights is the biggest setback we can have in boxing. Just being honest. I think that's the biggest setback we can have in boxing right now. And I told people a couple of weeks ago before that Lamont Roach fight came up, I said, hey, man, if we don't know how to score fights, we're not going to be able to enjoy these fights. If we don't know how to score these fights, you're not going to be able to enjoy these fights. And guess what? You can't even enjoy the Lamont Roach and Tank Davis fight because people don't know how to score the fight. Then you have a clear knee. You have a guy who takes a knee in the fight. This is what makes it bad. You have a guy that clearly takes a knee in the fight. So now I look biased because Virgil Ortiz, he took a knee and everybody, and I was up here saying, oh, that's a knockdown. Then another guy comes in and take a knee, and I'm supposed to give him a pass? Nah, man, I can't do that. See, that's what we heard in boxing at right there. So, like I said earlier, it's a lot of kids, man, that watch that fight and say, oh, you can take a knee in boxing. Oh, I didn't know you could take a knee. You gonna have guys get hit in the chest like, hey man, give me a break. Tank Davis took a knee too, so during the boxing match, you might have guys in the amateurs start taking knees. Trust me. And people like, man, I don't believe that. You just talking. Bro, when they were doing Euro steps in the NBA and shooting 3-pointers, everybody was like, oh, that's just the NBA. That ain't gonna happen in high school. Not everybody in high school doing Euro steps and shooting 3-pointers. And now they're like, oh, that's just the NFL. That ain't gonna happen in as far as this soft calls they give for Tom Brady and all these other guys. That ain't gonna happen in college. You get to college, guys hit somebody wrong one time, they getting thrown out of the game. You are setting the precedent when you're the top guy. That's why everybody's not entitled to the name of face of boxing or anything else. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. Cam Newton came out recently. Am I gonna play this? Should I play this? Cam Newton came out recently, right? Because I had a video I made where I was talking about they only use that face of boxing title for promotion. It's not really a real thing because people just don't go around saying that. You know what I'm saying? And Cam Newton, they was asking Cam Newton about the face of the NBA, the face of the NFL. He said that's not real. He said it's not real. It's not a real thing. He said nobody goes around and says, I'm the face of this and I'm the face of that. He said that's not real. This is the guy who's been a MVP of the NFL, played in the Super Bowl, knows just about anything. The man was on a yogurt commercial every 5 minutes for years. So he knows everything about being the face of something in this. Even he says that's not a real thing. You don't get labeled the face of this. Even when Michael Jordan was playing, wasn't nobody running around talking about Michael Jordan is the face of the NBA. Nobody was saying that. Wasn't nobody running around talking about Kobe Bryant is the face of the NBA. They didn't even say that for LeBron. They didn't even say that for LeBron. Because during the time LeBron was around, it was still Tim Duncan that was getting more championships. And Kobe. So you can't be the face of the NBA and you got Kobe and Tim Duncan getting more championships than you. So you got guys that's in boxing right now that's getting undisputed, but they're not being called the face of anything. So I think a lot of that stuff be fluff, man. They be really hyping stuff up. It's good, but it shows that you got to promote more now. And I'm going to tell y'all why that's worse. Mike Tyson didn't have YouTube. He didn't have Twitter or Instagram. And he's still doing bigger numbers than all these guys. These guys have Instagram, Twitter. They got whole cities behind them. And they still not able to crack 1 million every time like Mike. That's why I told y'all, I was like, bro, Mike Tyson really the face of boxing. And I said this before he jumped in the ring with Jake Paul. The man did 1.5 million with no crowd. Tank Davis can't get no crowd and go in there and fight somebody and do 1.5 million. He had a crowd with Ryan and did 1.2. When it comes to stuff like that, I'm not no dummy. Trust me, I know when somebody's a big time athlete, bro. I'd have been around more celebrities than y'all ever believe in your life. Your favorite celebrities. Bro, you know when somebody's a star and when somebody's man-made, bro. And that's real talk. You know when somebody's man-made. You see how big of a deal it was when Adrian Bronner had that fight against Maidana? That's how you know Adrian Bronner made himself into a star, because I didn't feel like Adrian Bronner was at a high level at that point in his career where people should have felt like if he lose a 12-round fight to Maidana, that was somehow a career accomplishment. The man lost a 12-round fight to Maidana, and people if you weren't a boxing fan, you would think that was the biggest win of all time. You would think that Adrian Broner was Floyd Mayweather. But as I get older, I'm starting to gravitate and realize, oh, they just wanted a black guy to get beat up bad, and brag about it because Munguia just got done worse than that recently, and when nobody that should have went viral, that didn't go viral. So people mad at me. They get mad at me a lot of times the way I cover boxing because they like, oh, you coming in and try to change everything. Bruh, boxing is done, bruh. Y'all already said boxing needs to be fixed. When y'all said that who's going to fix boxing, is Turkey Al-Sheikh going to fix boxing? Why do you need to fix boxing and you got promoters that's been making millions of dollars? What you got to fix? Oh, you mean the other guys who ain't been getting opportunities, they need to get opportunities now? Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds better. That makes a lot more sense. So you mean the guys who haven't been getting the spotlight like everybody else has? The guys who've been fighting champions back to back to back. George Kambosos just came out and said, I done fought champions, undisputed fighters, and former champions. Ever since 2019, I've been fighting nothing but champions every fight. Ryan Garcia wasn't a champion. Teofimo was a champion. A lot of people say he was undisputed. Even though we know he wasn't undisputed. You have people running around talking about Teofimo was undisputed. And you know how people, and this is how you know people lie a lot. Nobody even says he's undisputed anymore. Nobody even says that he's undisputed no more. And a lot of people were saying that he was undisputed. They said that him and Kambosos was undisputed. As soon as Devin Haney got those belts, they say he's an email champion. And they got that from Tank. If Devin Haney is an email champion, right, and he had belts at 135, Lamont Roach ain't got no belts at 135, so what is he? But you got to put respect on Lamont Roach's name because he came out there and did what he did, though. That's why they ain't gonna call Lamont Roach no email champion. Only thing I heard about Lamont Roach is they said he lost to Jamel Herring at 24 years old. Okay. The dude is 29 now. You think he the same fighter he was at 24 years old? You think Tank Davis the same fighter he was at 24 years old? Absolutely not. I wonder, did I say what I think that was one thing I forgot to talk about what Ryan Garcia's dad had said about Tank. Because I didn't want to sit out here and put a whole bunch of videos about Tank out like I was just worried about people laughing at him. People ain't ready to tell the truth about the situation, so I moved on. I don't feel like I need to sit up here and post a whole bunch of videos about Tank so people can sit up here and tell the truth. They know what the truth is. The way it's been quiet ever since that fight happened, they know what the truth is. They know what the truth is. But yeah, I got to shut this live down and I'm going to actually open another one up and do this for a couple of minutes. But I appreciate everybody for coming through. I had to get this little situation fixed on this computer, but I'm good now. I'm good now. Ain't going to be no more skipping going on in the near future. I see what the problem was. But in the near future, everything should be good now. I mean, if you guys just knew what I'll be doing on this computer, I'll be having so many things going on. But I got some, I'm going to premiere the stream that I'm going to do next. I'm going to just premiere it in the morning so everybody will know what it's talking about. Probably tomorrow, in the morning, I don't know. I might just do 2 more lives tonight. I don't know. I might be on that type of time tonight. You know what I'm saying? I love boxing, so I can talk about it all day, but it ain't gonna be the things that people want to hear. But I'm definitely starting another stream though, cause I'm But like I said, man, anybody want to be a member, you could definitely. It would be it's only $1, so I ain't getting rich off nobody being a member. It's just that it's exclusive. When you get a newspaper now, they charge you $1 or 50 cents for a monthly fee. So, you know, I made it $1. I could have charged $5, but you know what I'm saying? I want everybody to have access to something that's affordable. It's almost like not Latrell's Free World, but Marbury when he came out them shoes. I know everybody was laughing at how cheap they was, but it was some. I'm from the hood, so I was a lot of dudes that was at my school that had to wear those same pair of jeans every week. That's why I be laughing when dudes be like, "Man, I'm from the hood, bro." You laughing at somebody who wearing the same jeans every week? That's supposed to be normal in the hood. I don't know what hood you from. That's supposed to be normal. Where is it at? That's not it. It was Dana White and somebody else. Hopefully I have it up here, man. I don't know if I even got it up here now. Yeah, let me see if I got it up here, man. No, I don't think I got the picture up here. I made it though. Hang, I might have to just snatch one up real quick. But yeah, this gonna be a good live I'm gonna do next, man. I might just make another picture later on. Just throw a random picture up there. But this is something I definitely want to talk about next because I'm not gonna lie, there's some good news that's coming out. This is one of the biggest stories right now that people aren't talking about in boxing. That's why Usyk coming out and saying something about Dana White was crazy. That was a lot bigger than what people realize when he spoke on Dana White. Man, I might use the same thumbnail for something else, man. Hold on, let me see. I just need one with Dana White up there. I had already made one, but I don't know where that went. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I'm finna do another live in a minute. I'm gonna let it go live for a little bit, but then, first 15 minutes I'll discuss openly. If y'all want to catch that live, you can definitely. It'll be up in 2 seconds. Appreciate everybody for coming through though.